Good morning. I will be starting a new segment where I read a chapter from Horrible Harry and the Holidaze by Suzy Kline. This is the story we're going to be reading, and this is AR. So when we finish the entire book, you can go and take an AR test on it. So let's get started. Horrible Harry and the Holidaze by Suzy Kline, and the pictures are by Frank Remizwick. The D word. My name is Doug, and I'm in third grade. I write about what happens in room 3B, but this holiday story was the hardest one to write. Something was the matter with my best friend Harry. I can only come up with one way to describe him that month. Harry was in a daze. He didn't flash his white teeth. He didn't call Sid a squid. He wasn't interested in things that were slimy and hairy. So our characters start for this book are Doug, who is going to be our narrator, and Sid and Harry. And they're all people in his class. All right. So he wasn't interested in things that were slimy, hairy, or creepy. And he didn't seem to be in love with Song Lee anymore. Harry just wasn't his horrible self. It all started one morning in early December. Boys and girls, Miss Mackle said, today is an exciting day. We have a new student in our room and a new class pet. Everyone looked at the new boy, then at the large pet cage. A white towel was draped over it. This is Yusuf Haddad. Tell us about yourself, Yusuf, the teacher said. Yusuf wasn't shy. He spoke right up. Call me Zuzu. That's a nickname for Joseph in Lebanese. Lebanon is a country on the Mediterranean Sea. Miss Mackle pulled down the wall map and pointed to his homeland. Zuzu smiled as he took the white towel off the cage. And this is Juju. He is a tortoise-shell guinea pig. Everyone oohed and awed. Song Lee clapped her hands. Juju looked like one giant auburn black and white hairball. What does Juju mean in Lebanese? Miss Mackle asked. George, Zuzu answered. So they have a new student in the class, and he brought in a class pet. I'm sure glad you said I could keep him in class, Miss Mackle. I love animals. I know how to take good care of them. Well, we're happy to have Juju in room 3B. He's a holiday gift to us all. I immediately looked over at Harry and put up 2 thumbs. But Harry wasn't even looking at Juju. He was scribbling a bunch of empty circles. What was going on? I thought. Harry loves hairy things. Would you like to help Zuzu look after Juju this week? The teacher asked. Song Lee raised her hand first. Although she's shy, she loves animals. Last year, she brought 3 to our class. Chung-ju, a salamander, Bong, a water frog, and Yi, a hamster. The rest of us waved our hands madly in the air too, except for Harry. He just looked mad. For a while, I was the only person who noticed Harry was in a daze. Song Lee was too busy helping Zuzu. I can fill the water bottle, she said. I can get the wet and dry food out, Zuzu replied. So here's the class raising their hands, and there's Harry. He's all in a daze, acting different. I wonder why he's acting different. I brought carrots and potato peelings in baggies, but I keep the cereal in this can. It has a nice tight lid. When I stopped by Harry's desk, he was still doodling. His scribbled circles looked like the Grand Canyon. What's the matter with you? I asked. You look like a scowling statue. Harry didn't answer, but he did move. He shrugged his shoulders just once. After lunch, things got even busier. Miss Mackle wrote the word holidays on the blackboard and underlined the S ending. We are so lucky this year, she exclaimed. Remember when I sent a letter to your parents asking what the winter holidays you celebrated at home were? Well, I found out that room 3B families celebrate 5 different holidays. 5, Sydney gasped. I thought there was just one holiday. Christmas. Mary blew her bangs up in the air. She does that when she gets angry. Haven't you ever heard of Hanukkah, Sid? Or Kwanzaa, Ida added. Or Three Kings Day, Dexter replied. My mother is going to come help me share about our Korean New Year's, Sung Lee said softly. Miss Mackle beamed. Thanks to our parent volunteers, everyone in our class will get to know 5 winter holidays this year. My dad's coming this afternoon, Dexter blurted out. Any minute now. Everyone cheered as Miss Mackle pushed a long table in front of the room. Then we waited politely. As soon as we heard footsteps coming down the hall, we all looked over at the doorway, even Harry. I was hopeful he might snap out of his daze. And that is the end of our first chapter. So far in our news story, the class that we're reading about, which is in room 3B, has the following students. Doug, which is our narrator, Song Lee, Harry, Juju, Ida, Dexter, and let's see, I think there was one more. Let's see here. Miss Mackle is the teacher. So I guess that's all this. Oh, and Sid. Sid was the last one I forgot. So those are our students, and their new class pet is Juju. And he is a guinea pig, a tortoiseshell guinea pig, and that they're going to help take care of. In our story, we're going to learn about 5 different holidays: Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Three Kings Day, and Korean New Year, which all happen in winter. So I'm going to read one more chapter for today. 2 surprises for Three Kings Day. The tall man who entered our room was carrying a huge cake and had a bag over his shoulders. I noticed he was wearing a t-shirt that had a guitar on it. Now I know why Dexter is such an Elvis fan. Boys and girls, the teacher said, this is Mr. Sanchez, Dexter's father. He's going to tell us about a holiday his family celebrates. Three Kings Day, Dexter shouted out. Let me show you the picture. There's a shoe with crayons in it. That's right, his father replied, setting his things down on the long table. Three Kings Day is celebrated all over Latin America, Spain, and other parts of Europe. Dex, why don't you tell the class about the things I brought? We all watched Mr. Sanchez empty the contents of his bag. 1 shoe, 6 walnuts, a piece of coal, a bucket, and a framed picture. Dexter picked up the framed picture first. Actually, my family celebrates both Christmas and Three Kings Day. This is a picture of the 3 wise men who visited the stable when Jesus was born, on January 6th, the 12th day after Christmas. There's a picture of all the things that his dad put out on the table. We believe the 3 kings, that is, visit our house and bring gifts like Santa Claus does. Only they don't leave them in Christmas stockings by the fireplace. They leave them in the shoe. Some people leave their shoes by their bed. We leave them by the door. Man, Sydney says, you get presents twice? Dexter beamed. Yeah. Well, what if the present is Tinker Toys, Sid said. How would that fit in a shoe? Well, it happens a lot, Dexter answered. Last year, the wise men left me an Elvis video, Fun and Alpaca, by the door, and it was too big for my shoe. So what about the walnuts? Sid asked. Oh, we leave walnuts in a bucket of water for the wise men's camels, Dexter explained. Well, do you leave them cold too? Mary asked. No, Dexter grinned. That's what you get in your shoe if you've been bad all year. Well, Mary laughed. That's like Christmas. I bet Harry finds coal in his stocking. When Harry didn't raise his fist or say anything, Zuzu did. Mary, that's a mean thing to say. Yeah, Sid said with a big grin. He liked it when Mary got zapped. I didn't. It didn't happen very often. Slowly, she sank down in her seat. Room 3B had a new judge, Zuzu. Miss Mackle's next announcement made things fun again. Please take one of your shoes off and put it next to the doorway. Neato, Sid said. We get to go barefoot. Well, not barefoot, the teacher objected. Leave your socks on. As soon as all the shoes were near the door, Mary held her nose. It smells in here. It didn't bother Sung-Lee. She giggled. She didn't mind slimy or smelly things. Well, that's one reason why Harry likes her. Close your eyes, the teacher said. The 3 wise men are coming. But, Miss Mackle, it's not January 6th, Zuzu objected. Good listening, the teacher replied. I mean, let's pretend that it's January 6th. Everyone put their heads down on their desk and closed their eyes except me. I wanted to see if Harry was peeking. He wasn't. Harry wasn't being horrible at all. A few minutes later, Miss Mackle called, Come and see the surprise in your shoe. Sidney made a beeline for his sneaker. Mary was behind him, holding her nose with 2 fingers. Crayons! She exclaimed in a nasal voice. These are flashy ones, I said. Harry was the last one to walk over and empty his shoe. Did you see what kind they are, Harry? Miss Mackle asked. They're fluorescent. Yeah, Harry replied, but I like my old crayon stubs better. Miss Mackle lowered her voice. Are you okay, Harry? She asked. You seem a little out of sorts. Before Harry could answer, Sidney blurted out, Hey, can we leave our shoes off all day? No, the teacher replied firmly. Sid made a face as he slipped on his shoe. He didn't bother trying the long laces. Thank goodness, Mary gasped, unplugging her nose. I can breathe again. Thank you for my crayons, Song-Lee said softly. Thank you, Wiseman, Zuzu pretended. Thank you, we all chimed in. Okay, boys and girls, Mr. Sanchez says. Now it's time for the second surprise, the crown cake. Everyone watched Dexter's father lift the lid off the cake carrier. Look what's on top of the snowy icing, Mary said. Cherries and pineapples. They look like shimmering jewels. Look at the hole in the middle of the cake, I said. It looks like a crown. I bet it would fit my head perfectly, Sid chuckled. I think I'll try it on. Sidney, don't you wear the cake, Zuzu said. You eat it. Listen up, Zoo. I was just kidding, Sid replied. Dexter tapped his dad on the shoulder. Can I tell them now? Can I? Yes, Mr. Sanchez said. There is something really special about the crown cake we eat on Three Kings Day. It has one surprise baked inside. Whoever finds it will have a lucky year. Many of us crossed our fingers, but Harry, I couldn't believe it. He made prayer hands. He really wanted that surprise. After everyone took a bite of the delicious, creamy cake, we looked around to see who got it. I got it! I got it! Sidney screamed as he jumped out of his seat, tripped over his long shoelace, and tumbled to the floor. Are you okay, Sid? Miss Mackle said. Of course I am, Sid replies as he stood tall holding the little surprise. I'm gonna have a lucky year. I got this. We all stared at the tiny clay doll. You lucky dog, Dexter cried. Harry made a fist, thumped it on his desk, and gritted his teeth. If I had gotten that doll, he said, it might have changed things. Miss Mackle and Mr. Sanchez looked at Harry, then looked at each other. I wasn't the only one who wanted to know what was going on with Harry. Well, he says it might have changed things. I wonder what things he wanted changed. So, Harry is still upset about something we don't know yet. But we talked about Three Kings Day, which was when the 3 wise men came and put things in your shoe. And there was a cake that you got to eat. So that is it for our book today. We'll pick up the next chapter tomorrow. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.